Well, this is a special edition of winners and losers on my end because I'm attacking Bedlam because I think there's winners from what's gone on and I think there's losers from what's gone on. I'll start with the winning side. Oklahoma State. Absolutely winners for this thing not continuing forward. Oklahoma has been the largest barricade for them really breaking into that next level of football teams. If you go back record wise and look at it, it's been the Achilles heel for Mike Gundy, not being able to get past Oklahoma. And there's reasons for that, right? They're two different programs that have different access to different types of things, but not playing this game for the football program for Oklahoma State may be the best thing that's ever happened to them. They can get out of the shadow. They don't have to take what's been almost a guaranteed L over the years, and they got a good chance to win the Big 12. They got a good chance to have one more win every season moving forward, and I think that's going to help them tremendously. I think it's going to help them in recruiting. I think it's going to help them in how they're ranked. I think it's going to help them, bring in some more money. I know that game was huge for them locally, bringing in money, but I think with what can be more consistent results, high in the top 25, perhaps playoff appearances year in, year out under the expanded format, I think overall, I wouldn't have gone about it the same way that Oklahoma State did, as far as their public comments about it. But it's a no-brainer to me. If you're Oklahoma State and you're talking about the best outcome for your football team, you don't want to play this game.
Yeah. And I know they won the game last year, right? We all watched it, but it has not gone particularly well for Oklahoma State when those two teams meet. So yeah, I agree. Them not having to play that game, when you think about wins and losses for their football program, huge positive for them moving forward. No doubt about it.
Yep. Loser. I mean, there's a bunch of losers. I think it's just the thing that you have to circle is tradition, right? And you can attack that from a million different angles. Families that have, different sides that root for different teams. And there's always that, that rivalry going on between families and friends. And I think the in-state, money generated from these two teams playing, I think is tremendous. Especially local communities or local businesses in Stillwater and in Norman. I mean, this game is always a packed house. But it's not just the Bedlam tradition. We're seeing it across the country with the realignment. I mean, it's an unfortunate aspect of what's gone on. You cannot be left behind money-wise. And in order to not be left behind money-wise, you have to make some difficult decisions and let go of some things that maybe previously you never would have imagined letting go of. And I think, unfortunately, we may see a little bit more of it before this is all said and done. But, whenever you lose something, hopefully you gain something. And maybe with Oklahoma State and with Oklahoma, we can both end up finding some new rivalries in our new conferences.
I'm with you. And we'll end up seeing how this all works out. I refuse to believe that this game's just going away for forever.
I know.
I think when you look at where college football is headed, I think it could come back maybe quicker than people think with the college football playoff expansion and with how significant a role the TV networks are playing now. I don't think it's going to be that far down the road where Power 5 teams are going to be playing 11 Power 5 games every year. And that's going to be something that the networks push for. And how that, what type of domino effect that has for some of the lower levels of college football, I don't know. But, and I would like to say, and Brett McMurphy broke that story, and it was a great article with the quotes from Weiberg and from Joe C. But this whole notion that this game can't be played because things are scheduled and they're full, that's such bullshit on both sides. Because the scheduling philosophy for both, right? Hey, we're going to play one Power 5 in the non-conference when we're going to play, a group of 5 and then an FCS. No one wants to watch the FCS game. Nobody. Yep. Nobody. Get rid of it and play Bedlam. It's that easy. Oh, well, it's complicated. We have country. No. It's that easy. It really is. I promise. And all this excuse making on both sides, I'm just like, guys, can you just spare us? Stop treating us like we're idiots. Like, oh, the philosophy, it just doesn't work. Oh, really? I was looking at, the future schedule for Oklahoma State, right? In 2024. Oh, OSU fans, let's say OU's in the SEC by then. They want to watch OSU play South Dakota State instead of Bedlam?
No.
I mean, really? How about 2026 for Oklahoma State? Murray State. Oh, yeah, I'm sure the Cowboys faithful are fired up for that one. And the same thing can be said for Oklahoma. I have no interest in watching OU play Illinois State in 2025 to kick the season off, or New Mexico in 2026. Zero interest. OU's got one non-conference opponent on the schedule for 2027, and it's that SMU series. They got 2 open dates. Why can't one be Bedlam? Someone explain to me why. Oh, well, the philosophy. Change the philosophy. It ain't that hard. Give us good games. I mean, that's the thing that pisses me off is they're like, oh, it just can't happen. We're full. That's such bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it's going to change sooner or later because just like you said, no one wants to watch those games. And if you talk to Oklahoma State fans, at least from what I've heard, and I've heard from a very, very small percentage of Oklahoma State fans, but it sounds like the narrative is like, we don't want to play it. We're fine with not playing it. And I can understand that. You know who's not fine with you not playing it? The networks. That is a highly rated football game. It's one of the most bet football games in all of college sports. And you have to look at it from a network's perspective. You're replacing a highly rated game, one of the highest bet games in all of college football, with, who'd you say, South Dakota State or something like that's, again, that's what you're replacing it with.
Yeah.
The network does not like that.
And fans shouldn't like it either. But if the philosophy remains the same, like OU fans, we're going to have to watch a bad game instead of watching Bedlam.
I think the situation that changes everything is when 2 lost teams start making the 12-team playoff.
Right.
Until
we're hopeful,
happens,
at least.
Right. Until that happens, unfortunately, in college football, the fear of losing 2 games is you can't overcome that right now. It's like, why would we play Oklahoma and stab ourselves in the foot whenever we don't even need to under the current model of trying to win a championship? And it makes sense, unfortunately.
Yeah. My whole thing is, there's no doubt that, I mean, and it's silly to say, okay, whose fault is it? Like, there's no doubt that the majority of the blame goes to Oklahoma, right? You're leaving for the SEC. You were in the same conference. You're not anymore. But Oklahoma State, anybody would have done the same thing, right? Would have made the same financial decision if they were presented the same opportunity. Like, yeah, OU leaving. I I can take off my crimson and cream glasses and say, yes, that is the main reason why Bedlam's going to go away. But this notion on both sides that it just can't be worked out is just ridiculous to me. Just play the damn game, man.
Totally agree.
And the thing that bothers me the most, maybe not the most, but there's two things. Number one, we've been making fun of Texas and Texas A&M for years. Just play each other. Stop whining. Stop, like, who cares? Just play each other. And now look at us. We're doing the exact same thing.
I know it.
The exact same thing that we've been making fun of them for over a decade now. And this is not to get like too sentimental or anything. When this happened, when Brett McMurphy's story broke, I was sitting downstairs hanging out with my son, and I was like, this is wild. I'm going to have to explain to him that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State used to play each other, and it used to be called Bedlam, and that two of my favorite memories of my entire life, beating them in overtime in Norman in, 2012, and then coming back and beating them in Stillwater in 2013, two of my favorite memories ever. I'm going to have to explain why that was important. And it just pisses me off. It's like, that's not like, kids growing up here should understand the importance of that rivalry, and they should be able to watch that game. It pisses me off, man.
No, I agree. And I understand the frustration. And I guess I'll end with this on my side. I remain optimistic that it's not dead forever. I think there'll be a time and a place where both schools will be able to come back and explore the idea.
I'm with you. I also found Gundy's like presentation with the notes on the sheet after practice. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
It's hilarious. Check it out.
Okay.
It's just like, he's like looking around like, any objections? No. Okay. Next point. It's hilarious. He's a showman, man. It's funny. All